feels like a live stream, but it's not.
It's not a live stream. It's an edited video, which means more work for you.
Always.
Especially with all the prep on this one, because what we're doing this week, guys, Thomas and myself are going to go through. A lot of you guys have submitted pictures, videos, things like that of your home enclosures. We're going to give you our opinion. Now, these are all videos that you guys sent in. Maybe what we should do next time, if you guys like this video, is scour the internet and find
random
good,
ones.
bad, rando examples.
Yep.
Make everybody angry.
Yep.
All right, so thank you for your submissions. If I make you angry, I'm sorry, never send one in again. If I make you happy, you're welcome. I've never done, this is a very YouTuber-y thing to do.
This is the first time we've ever really tried to be YouTubers.
Yes, this is my YouTuber-y.
YouTubers. Just potatoes.
Yeah.
We're potatoes.
Wait, give them our intro. Okay, we're ready.
Bam. All right, sweet. That was epic. Whew. First one's from Jason Dolphay. Right.
All right,
what do we got going on?
Well, he's definitely got a sizable cage here. This looks pretty good because that's not got a nice size enclosure. There's a big hide in there. It's kind of a tall hide. I think that'd probably work better as a shelf than a hide, really. Right out the gate, though, brother, you gotta get your shed skins out of there before you submit these videos. You got some it looks like snake curtains, little decorations up there in the top. I love all of the perches. He's got like 3 levels of perches. It almost looks like Olympic uneven bars. That's pretty sick.
Dope.
I do like that hide with the enclosure. Unless there's no other one, I'd want something that was like a little bit tighter fitting or even maybe more secure feeling, something with some weight to it. I'm gonna give this one a 5.5. The things I think you could probably do better is add some texture. Like, man, throw some universal rock up in the background. I love the perches. I like that he has the extra leaves and stuff in there. They do provide just some different texture and some things for the animals to hide behind. So, you know, overall, I think you've provided everything that the snake needs. I like the height of the cage. That's awesome. The size is really good. That's a very spacious cage. I would take advantage of some of that height, maybe add another shelf in there, some textures so that they, you know, just to rub up against, things like that.
All right, next one is from Roman Oliver.
I like that he gives us some context there. That's pretty cool, like where it is in the room, the fact that the cage is up high. Okay, so here now the animal has some texture. It's got that nice rock hide. I know my animals love that. It's a beautiful Motley Golden Child. But I do like the shelf. There's lots of textures. He's got, just in this one shot right here, I see 4 or 5 different elements within that cage to add some interest between kind of that resin log. There's a natural log. There's a hide / shelf. There's a big PVC shelf in the back, a little plant, a rock down below. You could tell that snake knows its way around. She's just chilling. Here's something we didn't talk about yet, the lock for security, must have. And honestly, probably a half a bonus point for the Retail Reptiles front and center.
I think so. I think we can do that.
Super selfish. I'm gonna
give it a, what's the
6.5 on this one. I like it.
Victoria Teague.
Victoria Teague. Ooh, this one's very pretty. She's obviously put a lot of her own energy into this cage. Tons of hides. I see 2 right on the shelf there over to the left. And we got a boa constrictor in this cage. But check out the ropes. And then you've got this smooth perch down here on the bottom hanging to the right, and she twisted some little rope like vine around it. Give it some grip. That's a really nice touch. She's got that all over where they're wired up. The extra leaves that are hanging in there, even though it's not in a vine that can be pulled down, I mean, that gives them a little bit of a visual barrier to hide. Oh, and she's got a dinosaur. Clint would be very happy.
This looks like something I would see in a zoo. Almost.
Nature center.
Okay.
She's got the heat all the way over to one corner with a rock even on it, so it can get super warm if it wants to. Everything is guarded. It looks like UVB lighting. You get an easy extra point there. That's like kind of sad to say, but with reptiles, especially snakes, adding UVB is like advanced husbandry at this point of the game. Look at the rope trim around it. That's one thing I learned when I went to the Reptarium. See that rope trim? You decorate the inside of the cage, and I always thought it was silly to decorate the outsides. But the truth of the matter is, if that makes you feel good, you want to spend more time there. Yeah, I like this cage. This is an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10?
Yep, right. 8 out of 10 for both. The only thing that I would, you know, give you as a zinger on is if you built the stuff out of wood on the inside, because it does break down. And I kind of think they do. See this like corner here where the cage is starting to come apart a little bit and show some age? it's heartbreaking to put that much time and effort into an enclosure, and then the enclosure doesn't last as long as the decoration. So I would probably make that out of something like PVC or something a little bit more resilient.
But overall, 8 out of 10.
Oh yeah, 8 out of, that's a great cage. Good job, Victoria. That's beautiful.
Swain.
This is creative. Am I seeing this right? So I see, first of all, I like the shelf brackets on top and not the bottom. Most of the commercially built cages have those shelf brackets on the bottom, and they're a pain. They just get in the way of cleaning, and then they don't do anything for you. By moving those to the top and orienting them perpendicular to the shelf, you create hides out of it. That's really cool. I like the locks. Those are good. It's PVC. That's awesome. The only thing I would like to see here is maybe some more texture. You know, an easy way to keep a clinical, quick, clean thing, but then provide texture is to take either something like Universal Rock, which is a very gritty, sandy texture, or even flat cork bark, and glue it up under the bottom of the shelf. That was my buddy Scott Bolter's idea. He did that, and the snakes can actually, so it's on the ceiling, and it doesn't, you know, they don't get it messy or anything, but they can get up there and rub on it and stuff like that, and that'll give that animal a lot. But honestly, even the way the brackets are, PVC cut like that is gonna have a sandy, gritty texture, just not a whole lot of it in the cage.
So not very natural, but extremely functional.
I don't know that it has to be natural though. I loved Victoria's cage, and that feels very good for us and makes us want to spend time there. But this one, from a design standpoint, I love it. I'm gonna go with like a 7.5. 7.5. I think functionally, this is an amazing enclosure. I really like the design, well thought out.
All right, next one is Dennis Colburn.
See that? Now that's like foamed, carved foam, like how we built our stone wall. He did with brick, and that looks like a Zoopoxy, at least type of product. Look how he's got the insulation foam running along the stair right here that's carved out. Cool use of the space. It's all wood enclosure. He's got the heat tape right there. So the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous about this is that heat tape on the wood right there. And if it is on top, well, it's, first of all, it's sitting on the wood, and then the only ways to, like, you either are sandwiching it in there, which is a little bit risky, and if it's on the inside of the cage, not the outside bottom, then it can get wet. So I'm not quite sure how he solved that problem. Maybe he did address it. I like that. That wall is beautiful. That's a piece of art. Really Click through to the finished project. Look at that.
How it's painted.
It's so sick too, how he brought the naturalistic wood and then he's got like gaps of it showing brick. As though it was the foundation of the house mixed with the jungle.
That's crazy.
That's super cool. That's really creative. That's a gorgeous retic too. Holy crap. Obviously must be one of ours. Only other thing I don't like about this, if it's underneath the stairs, you've got that. Every time someone runs up and down the stairs, that boom, 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 and snakes are very sensitive to that. Exactly. I don't know if you noticed this either. Do you see the clear dripping down as though there's water all the way to the right?
Oh, yeah.
You see that? That's like clear epoxy that looks like water running out of the wall.
That's super sick.
He's thought about everything in there. I'm going to give this sucker like an 8.5.
All right, next one's from James Hill Jr.
Ooh, my buddy James. Okay, so here we have, the Mexican black king snake. The DIY background. So this is what I'm talking about, texture, guys. Look at all the different textures in there. He's got this like Mopani root thing over here on the left, but it's a root flipped upside down where the harsh side of it is exposed upward for the snake to climb on, tons of grip. He's got a bunch of cork bark, and then all of that peat moss across the background. And then those are live plants. Yeah, that's cool. So check out how the snake can crawl along this shelf, enjoy all the differences in temperature, humidity, texture, and then it has the row of leaves to hide. That's what I was talking about, like a vine, like a curtain of vines. That's what this snake has. Now, obviously, it's a smaller snake than a retic, but that would be like an amazing baby retic cage. I really like this, James. Did a very good job here. James, I'm gonna give you a 7 out of 10. I like it. The only problem is not a retic.
All right, this is Jesse.
Oh, here we go. Oh, so this is an Exoterra, which is nice. It gives it a draft. Okay, that one's hollow. That's great. So it actually has a lot more hide area. I like how that one's like a bowl, you know, kind of scooped out. He's got a cave over here. So he is doing a really good job using kind of like the whole space of the cage stuff coming out. I like how everything's stacked towards the back. The addition of that big moss ball is really cool too. That's something they can climb around and fight on. It's small, but very well done. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one like a 6.5.
6.5.
Yeah.
Next one is Jody Westover.
All right, so we're combining some of the different elements of the cages here. I like this shelf over here where you have, it's almost like a hide under the shelf. They can get up on top of the shelf into another hide or all the way up on top. And I can see the probe right there, so that's probably the hottest point of the cage. Awesome vertical height. Now that one's got an expansive shelf in it. I see the radiant heat panel up top. You know what? I really like the usage of the almost cubic dimensions. You know what I'm saying? Now, like, it's got good depth. The animals can get away from you. They have tons of height, and yet they're still fairly long. You can see that super tiger in the bottom right down there. Not quite enough to stretch out completely, but I think what it's lacking in that length, it makes up for in the height of the enclosure. So the only thing I would like to see here again is like, I think you have some good texture with that TheraSeal and everything. I think it could probably be beautified. I don't know what you would do, but the wall and the sides and stuff, that's obviously more for the keeper and kind of like, yeah, let me get over there and hang with my animals all the time. The one thing I think it's really missing though is like straight up vertical. Like I would like to just see like a thick rope hung from the ceiling so that snake can utilize those muscles. Yeah, that they use when they run up tree trunks and stuff. Man, that would be so good for muscular development of the animal. I'm gonna give this one a 5.75.
Wow, that was super specific.
Yes.
All right, next one is from Stacy Borguno.
Stacy, whoo, Stacy, what have you been doing over there? That is a lot of snakes. These look very simple. When you have that many snakes, you know, you got to start getting a little bit simpler, easy to clean, but at the same time, check out that expansive shelf in there with the nice, you can tell that snake is like so comfortable. See how she's just chilling under the window there? That's really nice. You can see every enclosure has vertical areas. It's got height.
Periscoped up. Like, hey, what's
up? Hey. I missed my cage, boss. I like the multiple hides. You can see the ceramic heat emitter over here, which is cool because you can, like the fancy lights are nice, but I feel like they disturb the snakes, especially if you leave them on extended periods of time. Yeah, these look really good. Honestly, Stacy, from like a collection standpoint, this is fantastic. I love
keeping this many snakes at this high quality.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're not skimping on cage furnishings or anything like that. The only thing I would say again is like maybe some texture if you can on the walls. Like get a flat sheet of universal rock at some point, carve it up and throw it in there. Now, if I was to take one of these cages and put it up against everyone else's, I feel like it would score lower because of the simplicity. But then when you look at how many snakes she has, it really makes sense to keep it simple because the cleanliness is going to be very important for a collection that large. So I'm gonna go with a 5.5 on these.
5.5.
These are very well organized. This is an awesome large collection setup. You're doing a good job over there. It's beautiful.
All right.
It's got to feel good to go down there too.
Jim S.
Ooh. Oh, check out those cool perches. Those are like bamboo, but what has he done to those? I don't know. Did they come like that? It looks like he wrapped them with something and then painted it. See those tiger stripes? Yeah. That's pretty sick. I like that. Okay, now here's what we're talking about as far as hides. Like he's got 3 different size rounds. He actually has different sizes of hides for them to choose. And then the animal can get from one side of the cage to the other, crawling through the foliage the whole time. The only thing that I would say that I really don't like here is there's no lock on the cage, and that is not glass, that's like a plexi or a Lexan. So my problem with the Lexan and stuff, especially on a bypass door, is that the snakes can get in there, and once they figure it out, it's over. They'll be out there every 10 seconds, and they can bow them out enough to squeeze through there. I think a snake that size could probably escape once it figured it out. And then the worst is once you go to correct it, they feel like they could have gotten out there before, and they push and push and push, and then you got those sharp angles and they cut their heads or scrape their scales and stuff like that. So there's a little bit of a concern on that for me. But if you were to replace those with glass panels and put a lock, even if it was one of our simple, like just little bent metal, you know, made from a coat hanger
right here.
Yeah, throw one of those locks on there and maybe invest in a little bit of glass and you got it. I'm gonna go ahead and give I wish I could give it higher, but those safety concerns are paramount. You know what I mean? And so maybe there's something that I don't see, but the way it stands right now, I'm gonna go ahead and give that a 6. Lori Tarini. So Lori is actually our animal behavior specialist. All right, so there's Talcetti. Talcetti,
I think.
Talcetti, I think you're right. Okay, look at the usage of this space. First of all, that cage is enormous. She's got rocks in the water bowl.
Like all the
That's really good. About. Yes, okay. This is pretty cool. So it's still a simple cage. This is not what I would call a naturalistic enclosure. It's more based on giving the animal like what it needs as far. Yes. Hey, check it out. She's got a solution for the smooth cages, like Cody's glass enclosure. She's got the little stick-on things here. See it? And then the perches with hooks in the end, DIY, and then you can just kind of hook them in place and remove them. This is the type of hammock stuff I'm talking about. Those are cheap, they're inexpensive. See how she's got one tied up at the top, one flat down.
Up on the very top?
Yes, it's a reverse. She's just got a zip tied in there. You see that? Yeah. So it's like a all the way at the top shelf slash hide.
Let's see the part of the video she sent us. What's up, Lori?
Hi, Lori. So you guys can actually go watch Lori Tarini's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think the reason she's developed all this stuff is because she does study animal behavior. And this is kind of what we're trying to get at with these next generation enclosures. Is not an enclosure that only caters to the animal's needs to keep it alive, but one that truly encourages all those behaviors. Because you're gonna see this animal every single day. If it's just sitting there, how boring is that?
And
that's where you get that beauty of skin deep.
6 or 7 different ways that it likes to hang out and see what it like, turns into as far as.
And I think everybody's animals probably have a lot more personality than they realize. So, all right, check it out. She's got shelves with multiple, this is how you do tons of layers with shelves. She just literally stacked up a bunch of stuff. She got water in there. So it's like, look, just where she's pointing. She's got the wooden shelf. She's got that water thing. She's got a sphagnum one above it. And those are also, especially if you used bigger containers going to smaller, you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different layers in a cage. Very simply for like $10. You know what I mean?
Here's interesting.
Check out that furniture, the slatted furniture over there. Gives the snake something to hold on, but it's still smooth enough that it has to grab. She's got these, the perches going everywhere. She's got PVC perches, and then she wrapped it in vine.
What does Lori have is the question.
Well, let's see what her substrate looks like. Does she give them substrate options? Yes, she does. Okay, so she's got nice textured substrate in there. And I'm a paper guy myself, but you can still provide, you can give, like if you like to keep them in paper, you can give them a paper substrate, make it easy to clean, and put some of these totes in there with these variety of choices. You got sphagnum moss, coconut. Here's something that's really cool. She's got that huge water bowl, but she's got rocks in it. You know what that's for? I think it makes them comfortable in deeper water because snakes kind of float. And so they won't utilize, you know, like if they're in a giant thing and they're sloshing around, like they can easily swim in there or they can anchor to that stone and soak themselves. So that's a really good idea. I'd like to see it protrude from the water, like maybe a little bit bigger rock or something. But that is a really cool idea. So huge cage, very vertically oriented. It looks at least as tall as it is wide, shelving everywhere. Yeah, she's got some of her other animals here. I can't see, can you go back to some of the photographs? Look, she's got another water bowl on the other side. Cold water, hot water side.
Oh, really?
Plus the shelf. See it? That's blue tub, white tub, and another one up top.
Dang.
It's just options, you know? That's great. There's Talcetti. He's cute. Yeah, he's a high percentage platy that we produced a few years ago. He's getting up there now. This is beautiful. So yeah, Talcetti is he's a breedable young adult retic. He'll probably still get a little bit bigger.
Retic we've ever produced.
Well, certainly the most like inspired.
Educated.
Yeah, the most educated retic. So how many perches and levels does she have there?
There's like
between the rocks hiding on the side?
Yes. More.
That's what I'm talking about. That's really cool. Let's see. We got a zonker on something here. Hold on.
The walls could be painted.
Even then, they're like a good-looking wood grain. Scroll over to the other side there. Yeah, I can tell that the heat is there. clearly she has a gradient not only of temperature because that heat is on one side up in the corner. He can get real close to it. And then those stone-like perches, instead of putting the PVC up there, putting that flat stone-like, I'll bet you that if that thing has any substance to it, like a concrete type of a thing, it'll retain that heat. And it's awesome. Even when you turn the lights out at night, it will slowly release heat through the night. So that's a really good idea. If they're not a stone type of thing, she could put more of like a stone shelf in there. It's a great idea for anybody looking for that. The totes everywhere, what an easy solution. Drill a hole in the top, snap it down. And then also if he's hiding in there, it makes it really easy to just remove him without disturbing him and go in and clean the cage. I don't think this looks like a difficult enclosure to clean.
No, it's just
all those perches are hanging on hooks. Super easy. She doesn't have like a flat shelf that's attached, but she has 2 different freestanding shelves with multiple layers. So that accomplishes that. And then each tote is like a flat shelf of its own. And then having that net hammock in there. See how she's tied it up to keep the curl exactly the right way?
Is this a 9?
I think this is a 9.
This is a 9.
Honestly,
Good job, Lori.
I feel like Victoria's was more beautiful. But I feel like Lori has just gone way above and beyond in terms of what she's providing for her animal here. If someone was to hit the perfect 10, I think it's a cage that acts like Lori's and looks like Victoria. It's simplistic, but obviously Lori is studying these. She actually uses these for like,
research.
For research on animal behavior. And she's got a bunch of animals in there, so she needs to get in and clean them quickly. But that's like Victoria's cage could be fully bioactive.
Sure.
They're really cool.
It's very impressive.
Well, guys, that was a ton of fun. Thank you for all of your entries with the pictures and videos that you guys have sent into the caging. It was really cool to look at that and kind of get a lens into how some of our babies are living their lives in their new homes. That was really cool. Thomas, there's a ton of stuff in that video that I really learned from and want to incorporate. It was pretty cool trying to help people see if they could level up as well. So that was pretty sick. Hey guys, there's actually more than that, so stay tuned for part 2. Check it out next week.
Because if you didn't see yours, it's not that we didn't rate it.
If you didn't see yours, you're part 2.
There were so many good submissions, we had to make part 2.
I mean, it could be that they didn't send it in. That might be why they didn't see theirs. I don't know. If these videos go off and people like them, then maybe we'll do more. It was fun for me. How about you, Thomas? You like these ones?
I may have been falling asleep in the middle of it, but that's not because they were interesting. It was because I was really tired that day.
Oh, man. Excuses.
Are you going to point them at a video they should watch? Is there any recommendations?
This one.